To burn a flag on the steps of the Capitol brought several members of Congress to meet him with fire extinguishers. When Johnson didn't show up, the congressman performed for the cameras anyway.
You just don't stage street events, do you?
We're prepared to take our message wherever there's an audience. Talk shows are a great vehicle for getting the word out.
You played a big part on one of Morton Downey's shows. How did you get on the Morton Downey show?
When Morton did a show on Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, we were there.
Oliver North, he fought in Vietnam, saved school children in Grenada by himself, and helped combat terrorism worldwide. And what's he? He's a convicted fella. Well, if our jails are going to be overcrowded with the likes of Ollie North, pal, I got to tell you, send me upriver with them. We'll break them all out and take over the damn country. Let's go.
We had Jamie Wheeler and a crew from Young Americans for Freedom to lead the charge.
Oliver North is as guilty as anybody in this room of believing in his country, obeying his God, and protecting his family. When this man makes reference to the Congress of the United States, it's we the people here. We the people elect these members of Congress, who then, I would say the majority of the Congress are elected to serve us, not some wild-eyed concept.
That show was fun. We stirred things up. That keeps people watching.
One thing.
No, the people.
North,
Gene,
Oliver North.
Gene, I want to hear the people.
Oliver North resigned when he was charged.
People.
Oliver North resigned when he was charged.
But your long-running investigation of Senator Ted Kennedy has had the most public impact, hasn't it?
Kathleen, you're absolutely right. Ted Kennedy's escapades have been all over the national media. The stories we broke about the human sandwich made the National Enquirer as well as a current affair.
Let's look at some of that current affair telecast.
Senator Ted Kennedy can't seem to stay out of the headlines, and not because of his role as politician and lawmaker. Once again, the stories have nothing to do with political parties.
Ready, set, go, man, go. I got a gal that I love, so I'm ready.
He's tanned, he's rested, he's ready. 20 years after Chappaquiddick virtually killed his aspirations for the White House, Ted Kennedy is back. But not in a race for president, more a race for wine, women, and song. And naturally, back in the headlines with a bang. With stories like these, alleged sex attacks on waitresses, lovemaking sessions under a restaurant table, drunken stumbles, barroom brawls, and pictures like these. The senior senator on the French Riviera, on a boat called the Obsession, with a mysterious young brunette for the first mate. The latest scandal for Teddy is told in the upcoming issue of Penthouse magazine. It claims several years ago, Teddy summoned a waitress to a private room at Washington's Brasserie restaurant, threw her on top of his dining companion, Senator Chris Dodd, and then reportedly climbed on too. All the while, the woman in the middle of the sandwich demanded they stop. It was the same restaurant where Kennedy allegedly was caught making love at lunch under a table with a blonde companion. Will Teddy ever escape the glare of this kind of publicity? Well, he tried, but in the wrong place. Saint-Tropez, at the wrong time, 20 years after Chappaquiddick.
Well, that's quite a bit of television coverage, Gene. But you've done other things to mobilize the public, haven't you?
We don't have a videotape of all the successful events we've had, Kathleen, but we've had a tremendous response to ideas such as the Jim Wright mock trial, which came out in 1988. The Ted Kennedy swim team caused a sensation when they went for a dive in the Senate fountain. Then there was turkeys for the pay raise, babies against abortion, and finally, Ronald Reagan for vice president. The signs we printed started the national media on a bandwagon. It kept the spirit of the Reagan Revolution alive.
It's clear that Public Advocate has had quite a bit of success attracting attention and molding public opinion. Do you have any advice for activists who want to do the same thing in their own communities?
There's 10 rules I have to rally the public. Number 1, truth counts. Be honest in everything you do, never contrived or phony. Number 2, the Boy Scout rule. Be prepared. Be prepared to take advantage of any opportunity, and be prepared when you go public. Number 3, be humble. You need the active involvement of many equal partners to have an impact on public policy. Don't let mass media success distort your self-image. Number 4, rehearse, practice, practice, and practice. Play out your role in private beforehand, out loud. Practice taking tough questions. Number 5, the bag of crack rule. Don't use props that haven't been checked out from every angle. If you try to stage something phony, reporters will find out. Number 6, the Newt Gingrich rule. Do anything to get your message out. Call radio shows. Get on talk shows. Speak to organizations. Testify at hearings. Do something once a week. Number 7, allow reprints. Give allies permission to reprint your materials, saving you time and money. Put permission to reprint or distribute on all your materials. Number 8, no media needs. Television puts a premium on quick action, so stick to short bites and simple symbols. Print reporters require full and complete answers. Number 9, use friendly counsel. Keep up with sources of inside information. Work to develop your own skills. Look for seminars, marches, legislative projects to exchange ideas. Number 10, let your enemy help you. The proper use of confrontation can evoke an overreaction from the other side and help you prove your point. Keep them on the defensive.
That's all good advice. Do you have any final words?
I just tell people, do it, and do it right. Inaction is a curse. If Americans organize, the liberal crowd doesn't stand a chance.
And practice.
Learn the rules and practice, and recruit lots of deeply committed people. It's our hope that activists will take the battle directly to the public. With these kinds of media tactics, anyone can succeed.
Thank you, Eugene Delgaudio, Executive Director of Public Advocate of the U.S. And thank you for being with us.
Check out what was going on downtown today. These folks, calling themselves pornographers against Helms, said they're all for spending their tax dollars on smut. If you remember, Senator Jesse Helms of North Carolina is leading the move to cut off funding for sexually explicit art. Although these folks said they were all for that funding, they're actually against it. Spokesperson Bill Kintner dressed up as a pornographer in a striped jailhouse suit to make his tongue-in-cheek points.
It's absolutely insane to be funding this type of stuff. And that's the point that we want to make. Actually, Senator Helms is on the right track, and we fully support Senator Helms working to cut off the funding for this trash.
Kintner also took a stab at the Mapplethorpe exhibit, thanking Cincinnati for, quote, unselfishly shelling out your hard-earned tax money to help subsidize it. Kintner calls the exhibit taxpayer-subsidized smut.
One of the most controversial issues to hit the tri-state this year is once again taking the spotlight tonight. The Mapplethorpe exhibit is the topic around town, and a singer, an internationally known playwright, and an anti-pornography group are now all speaking their minds about it. Eyewitness 12's Terry Jessup has details.
I had forgotten how incredibly powerful this work is. I was actually very moved to see it.
Singer Laurie Anderson, in town to perform at Bogart's, was one of Robert Mapplethorpe's subjects. She posed for him for this photograph shortly before he died. After Anderson viewed the whole exhibit this afternoon, she told me she was shocked by some of the photos, but added she's saddened by the county's argument that they are obscene.
You know, it's not the Waltons, but it was a kind of family scene that was going on in New York at the time.
Outside at nearby Vine Street, this was what was going on. A protest by a local group who, despite their tongue-in-cheek signs, believes that what is wrong with exhibits like Mapplethorpe's is that they are tax-funded.
It gets a whole lot worse than Mapplethorpe, but even the fact that they're funding pictures of men urinating in each other's mouth, pictures of men sticking their arms in other men's rectums, that's ridiculous. That's not art. That's absolutely insane. Now, if people want to do it on their own dime and their own time, that's fine. But I'll be darned as taxpayers that we're going to pay for that.
And also in town today, renowned playwright Edward Albee. He shocked some people with his Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, so you can guess how he feels about censorship.
If you're going to permit it, who the hell is going to be doing the censoring? Are we going to permit some know-nothing government people out of Washington to do it?
A trial date in the Mapplethorpe obscenity case has not yet been set, and lacking any legal ruling, the lingering controversy here has shown many people only what they already knew, and that is that what is art, here in Cincinnati right now, remains in the eye of the beholder. Terry Jessup, Eyewitness 12 News at the Contemporary Arts Center.
The Mapplethorpe exhibit continues through May 26th at the Contemporary Arts Center.